Audio Renaissance presents The Art of Friendship by Roger Horchow and Sally Horchow. Read for you by Holter Graham and the authors. Foreword read by Malcolm Gladwell.
This is Malcolm Gladwell. I first met Sally Horchow at a dinner party in New York an embarrassingly long time ago. Sally was far and away the most interesting person in the room, and I will confess that I had an immediate crush on her. She did not, as it turned out, have a crush on me, or maybe she was distracted by some pre-existing crush. I don't know. As I recall, there was a day when I was traveling and trying to call her at her office from the airport in an attempt to set up a date, in that desperate, headlong way that young men tend to do, and it slowly began to dawn on me that it was not happening. Oh well, I thought in my disappointment, that's that. But here's the thing, that wasn't that. I was in. We have a tendency, I think, to pretend that the social arts are a good deal more complicated and mysterious than they actually are. When someone is charismatic, we say they have that indefinable something. When someone is beautiful and charming, we skip to the French, that je ne sais quoi. Whatever it is that happens when we meet someone, and when some kind of conclusion is drawn by one party about another, is treated as a big black box. I don't know what happened, the hapless guy always says, when he returns home from the unexpectedly fun first date, but we had a lot of fun. But the truth is that the thing that happens between two people is not a black box. Friendship, like crime, is a simple matter of means, motive, and opportunity. You must have a certain amount of social technique. You must have the desire to be open to another. And you must be in a position to meet someone new. Talk to a seasoned detective about the crimes that he has seen in his lifetime, and chances are that he will tell you, in sharp contrast to what we learn on the television cop shows, that there are few surprises in a crime scene. Well, there is nothing surprising about friendship either. Sally and I moved effortlessly to the level of friendship because Sally accepted me as her friend. We liked each other enough to want to have each other around in our lives, in whatever shape or form that would take, and Sally was graceful and generous and gifted enough in the social arts to make that happen. It was as simple as that. I wrote a big chunk of my first book on Sally's couch, house-sitting for her while she took off on one of her periodic jaunts around the globe. That's one definition of friendship, generosity. I met Sally's father, Roger, through her, and put him in an article I was writing for The New Yorker, on, appropriately enough, people who are really good at making friends. We sat in his apartment in New York and chatted happily for a few hours, and I left knowing that I was now in with him as well, like daughter, like father. At the end of the long and exhausting promotional tour for my second book, I found myself in Austin, Texas, lonely and awkward at a party where I thought I knew no one. Then, to my delight, across the room I spotted Sally's friends, Eve and Kevin. Because they were Sally's friends, I knew, right away, that they could be my friends too. After all, I was in. The book that follows is an exercise in the demystification of friendship. It is a guide to the rules of the game, and game is an appropriate word because the premise of what Sally and her father have written is that the art of friendship has a few simple guidelines that anyone can be taught, the way that anyone can be taught how to play gin rummy or dance the samba. Of course, particularly in the latter case, it's a good deal easier to learn something that looks very difficult from the outside if you're being taught by an expert. But trust me, in the case of the Horchows, senior and junior, you're in the hands of experts.
The Horchow Connection. Only connect. E.M. Forrester, Howard's End. Connecting is the key to launching a friendship. Finding common ground, a similar sense of humor or taste, or a mutual interest is where the joy of friendship begins. But before that, we have to meet our friends, and before we meet them, we must find them. What is the internal sense that points out potential friends in our midst? Is it something we're born with, or is it an instinct possessed?
Sample complete. Ready to continue?